My parents come first. Your mom has to leave. Lol. My husband said this to my mother out of the blue. Believe it or not, his parents had moved into our house without even asking. Okay, I'll go, my mother said sadly and left the house in tears. I'm Nancy, 30 years old, and I own a small cosmetics business. My husband Jimmy is also 30 and works as a hairstylist. We met through work and have been married for a year. Before getting married, I lived with my mother, who is chronically ill. She has been single since divorcing my dad. After dating Jimmy for a year and a half, we talked about marriage. I asked if we could live with my mom after getting married because I couldn't bear to leave her alone. At first, Jimmy didn't want to live with my mother because he thought it would be awkward. We couldn't agree on this, so we decided to meet each other's parents. When Jimmy came to my house and met my mother, he was surprised. This house is big and beautiful. It's big enough for several people, Jimmy said, admiring it, but he still didn't want to live there. So, I offered to pay all the living expenses if he agreed to live with us. He agreed to this. I also met his parents. Their house was old and worn out, but they were very kind to me. With our living situation settled, we got married. I make more money than Jimmy, and my friends noticed the difference in our incomes. But since he had a job and was independent, I didn't worry about the money. I liked his personality more. I'm usually a pessimist, but Jimmy's cheerful personality made me feel happy. I was glad to have him as my life partner. Jimmy, who is friendly and works as a hairstylist, quickly got along with my mother, so I thought living together would be easy. But I was wrong. After we got married, Jimmy started relying on me more and more for money. My mother didn't like this and often scolded him. Jimmy, are you borrowing money from Nancy again? I've never seen you pay it back, my mother would say. Jimmy, annoyed, would reply, I'll pay it back with my next paycheck. You said you borrowed money because you didn't have enough to go out drinking. But if you don't have money, you should stop going out, my mother argued. It's for work, so I can't avoid work-related outings, Jimmy replied. My mother wasn't convinced. Basically, you stay at home all day so you can't understand. Jimmy got annoyed. To ease the tension, I quickly said, I get why you want to go out with colleagues, so it's okay. Nancy, you're too soft on him, my mother said. He said the same thing last month and the month before. Has he paid you back? No, he hasn't paid me back. In the years since we got married, I've lent Jimmy several thousand, but he hasn't paid most of it back. Since he doesn't pay for living expenses, it's hard to believe he's out of money, I added. Then Jimmy said, living with your mother is really hard. She's so difficult. Since I have to deal with that, borrowing some money should be okay, right? You agreed to this by letting me cover the living expenses. I'm not lending you any more money. Please, I don't have much with my low salary, I replied. Even though I kept refusing, Jimmy kept asking for money until I eventually gave in. I knew this couldn't continue and tried to talk seriously with him, but he always dismissed it with a smile. Honestly, I'm thinking about divorce, I admitted. When we were dating, Jimmy often treated me to meals and gave me gifts. Now, even though it's only been a year since we got married, things have changed a lot. I hoped he would change, but that hope quickly faded. Jimmy quit his job at the salon without telling me and then got into debt from gambling. I'm sorry, I'll pay it back for sure. Can you cover my debt? He secretly asked me. But my sharp-witted mother noticed and joined in. Are you asking Nancy for money again? No, Jimmy looked uncomfortable, not wanting my mother to know. But I was really angry and told my mother everything. She exploded with anger. There's no way we're covering your debt. Get a new job and pay it off yourself. I'm in trouble because the repayment deadline is coming up. Can't you and Nancy cover it? Jimmy pleaded. I'm in trouble because the repayment deadline is approaching. Can't you and Nancy cover it? Don't be ridiculous. My mother was furious. Ever since living with you, MIL, it's been nothing but lecturing. I'm getting stressed out. You even criticize my appearance, saying it's not appropriate for a hairstylist. Jimmy was irritated. Are you saying this is my fault? I didn't gamble before we got married. I started going to casinos and horse races because I didn't want to come home. That's just an excuse. I'm borrowing money because Nancy said it's okay. It has nothing to do with you. Calm down, both of you. I tried to intervene, but it was in vain. It turned into a huge argument. From the next day, my husband and mother stopped hiding their disdain for each other and didn't speak to each other at all. A week later, on a weekend morning, people from a moving company suddenly arrived at our house. Ha! What's going on? I was stunned. They are here. Jimmy opened the door excitedly. Then a large number of boxes were brought into the house. What's happening? I asked Jimmy. At that moment, his parents showed up. Good morning. Why are you here so early? My mother was bewildered, standing with the people from the moving company and Jimmy's parents. My parents are moving in from today, Jimmy suddenly announced. What? What are you talking about? I had no idea about this, I said, astonished. Today is the moving day. I look forward to all of us living together, Jimmy said casually. It was unbelievable. My in-laws were moving in without permission. My parents come first. You, my MIL, need to leave. Lo, my husband told my mother. What is this? My mother was at a loss. This is my mother's house, you know, I said, and my husband looked surprised. Huh? He had assumed that since I run a company, I had bought the house, I realized. To really, my husband was fled. I said, since it's my mother's house, there's no way she should leave. I told him firmly. But they've already moved out of their house. What? Are you serious? I was stunned by his rashness. Did you think we would just allow them to move in unannounced? I asked. No, but the house is big and you have money, so what's the problem? I was infuriated by his flippant attitude. Enough already. You're unemployed, in debt, and now this? Absolutely not. Shut up. You should experience living with in-laws too. For the first time, my husband yelled at me with a terrifying face. I won't let them leave. I was intimidated, having never seen him like this. He used to be so kind. How did things get to this point? Did my request for him to live with us change him this much? No, it wasn't that. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. I was filled with despair at that moment. Fine, I'll leave, my mother spoke up. What? I was shocked. I'm sorry. It was wrong of me to ask my married daughter to live with me. My mother looked sad. I desperately tried to explain, but I was worried about you living alone with your illness. That's why I asked Jimmy to live with us. It's okay then, Jimmy and I will leave. You can stay here. It's fine. See? Your mother is okay with it, my husband said with a smirk. He was clearly thrilled about my mother leaving. My mother went to her room and started packing her suitcase. I'll come back for my things once I find a place. Mom, wait, I said frantically. Nancy, be nice to your in-laws. My mother quickly packed her things and headed to the front door. Goodbye, my husband said. Goodbye, my mother replied, tears streaming down her face. Mom, this house has been our home since before I was born. Are you really going to let it go over this? I tried to stop her. She looked down, wiping her tears with a tissue. Her shoulders were shaking as she couldn't stop crying. It's okay, I'll handle the house expenses, so don't worry. Goodbye, she said, her voice breaking and her eyes red. Watching her slender back as she left, I felt a deep anxiety. Yay, we got the house. My husband was triumphant. After my mother left, I couldn't believe his attitude. I quickly packed a suitcase with my essentials and decided to leave the house too. You're leaving just because my parents moved in. My husband called after me, but I ignored him and walked out. After that, I stayed in the same hotel as my mother and commuted to work from there. I had brought with me 5 days' worth of suits, but I was missing many things since I left in a hurry, so I bought what I needed. A month flew by as I was busy with work. One day, I took a day off during the week and went to our old home with my mother. We unlocked the door and entered the house. In the living room, we found my husband, his parents, and another woman. Nancy and mother. My husband stammered, surprised by our sudden arrival. The house was cluttered and messy compared to before. As usual, Jimmy and his parents were working and were living comfortably. MIL, you look different. Jimmy noticed the change in my mother, who used to be in her room, dressed in clothes without makeup. Now, she was dressed up with full makeup and wearing high-end brand clothes and jewelry. The first thing my mother said was, I've sold this house and the land. You need to move out. Move out? What are you talking about? Jimmy and his parents were shocked. The movers will be here soon. They'll pack my furniture, appliances, and belongings. They'll also pack your things. You need to leave within a week. Wait, what is going on? My husband was floored. I own this house and the land. I've let you stay here rent-free for over a month, so you should be grateful, my mother said firmly. No way. We're not leaving. My husband strongly resisted. In a week, this house and land will belong to someone else. If you're still here, then you'll be trespassing, and the police will get involved. Is that what you want? My mother had planned to sell the house and land for some time. The house was too big and hard to manage, so she was considering moving to a smaller, more manageable place. When Jimmy's parents moved in, she seized it as an opportunity to get back at Jimmy for causing me so much pain. Jimmy was stunned when he learned this. So when you were crying as you left the house? Oh, those tears were because I was trying so hard not to laugh at your triumphant face. I was acting. Didn't you think I was good? My mother said, laughing. Ma'am, it's time, her secretary informed her. Ma'am? My husband was stunned. You didn't know? I'm a consultant for the cosmetics company. When he heard the company name, my husband was shocked. Wait, that huge company? I thought you were unemployed. Well, I am at home a lot because of my chronic illness, so I left the company to Nancy's brother. Nancy is the president of our subsidiary. I didn't know any of this. Seems my daughter didn't trust you enough to tell you. Anyway, I'm leaving now. Make sure you move out by the deadline. With that, my mother left the house gracefully with her secretary. Nancy, why didn't you tell me? My husband immediately asked. I thought it would make living together even more difficult. Besides, I was worried you might try to borrow money from her too. Hearing my reason, my husband smirked. So, it turns out you have more wealth than I thought. The new place must be nice too, right? We'll move there too. That's not happening. I'm here to discuss our divorce. What? Divorce? My husband looked incredulous. And this woman sitting casually on the sofa, she's your mistress, isn't she? I said, looking at the woman who lowered her face uncomfortably. No, it's a misunderstanding. She's just an acquaintance, nothing more. My husband defended himself. This is the proof. I laid out photos on the table showing evidence of his affair. I had been suspicious of his infidelity for some time and hired a private investigator. The countless borrowing of money and gambling were likely spent on this woman too. When did you take these? The photos showed him entering a hotel with the mistress. I'll be demanding alimony. Realizing he couldn't hide anymore, my husband apologized. I'm sorry, I'll break it off with her. The divorce isn't just because of the affair. You don't work and you've racked up debt. I kept hoping you'd change, but I can't wait any longer. Hearing this, my husband countered, but you earn enough, so it would have been fine if I stayed home as a house husband, right? Why should I support a house husband who also cheats and racks up debt? I used to work, but since you kept lending me money, I lost the motivation. So it's my fault you stopped working. Then it's even clearer we should divorce. Seeing my resolve, my husband conceded, okay, let's divorce. I'll pay the alimony. I called the lawyer who had been waiting outside. We drafted a legal document regarding alimony, and my husband signed the divorce papers. I have prepared the lawyer to draft the documents, but I'm still entitled to half of your assets. We've been married for a year, so I should get half your annual income, he said, as if it were a matter of course. But it wasn't going to be that easy. We had a prenuptial agreement stating that there would be no division of assets in the event of a divorce. Remember what, Jimmy? You agreed to the prenup, didn't you? No, he finally remembered. It was agreed that there would be no division of assets if we divorced within 2 years. Yeah, I agreed, but I didn't expect this. Jimmy looked pale. At the time, you didn't imagine we'd separate, so you agreed to it without much thought. So if we divorce, you don't get a cent. You'll be only paying alimony. Hearing this, Jimmy hung his head. At that moment, the movers arrived, and I began directing them to pack. Wait a minute. What's this about being unemployed and in debt? You said you were a company president. Jimmy's mistress, who had kept quiet until now, shouted loud enough for the whole house to hear. Sorry, I was originally a hairstylist. I'm unemployed now, but I plan to find a new job soon. Apparently, Jimmy had lied about his job to his mistress. I'm breaking up with you, she shouted and immediately left the house. The movers finished packing my mother's and my belongings, then started packing Jimmy's and his parents' things. His parents were in shock at this sudden eviction. Later, I went to the local government office and filed for divorce. Our marriage lasted only a year. After we separated, Jimmy desperately searched for a new job but couldn't find one with conditions as good as his previous job, so he struggled to find employment. With alimony payments and debts, Jimmy and his unemployed parents ended up homeless. They eventually found part-time jobs and managed to rent a rundown apartment. My mother and I moved to a new place. It's a modest home but surrounded by nature and very comfortable. I have no lingering feelings for Jimmy, and I'm not considering remarriage right now. My work as a company president is fulfilling, and I'm living happily with my mother.